Welcome back, everyone. Today's lesson, I just want you to know this is not for you to memorize, it's for your information. And it's called the properties of operations with whole numbers. It's more like the qualities that you must remember when you work with whole numbers, and you will understand as we go along. So, the first slide is just the refresher. And it is important because this whole slide is going to be about addition and subtraction, multiplication. So just remember, if you add numbers, it's called find the sum. If you subtract, it's called find the difference. Multiply, it's find the product. And divide, it's find the quotient. Now, we're going to discuss 4 properties, like qualities of whole numbers in this lesson. We're going to do closure, associative, commutative, and distributive. Now, I wonder who of you can remember in one of the lessons, I said we had these associative and commutative on the side, and I said we're going to do more about this later. Right, I hope you can still remember that. Okay, so let's do the closure property. Addition and multiplication of 2 whole numbers is always a whole number. So remember what we say, what is a whole number, right? Numbers from 0 to infinity. So what this property is saying, that if we add 2 whole numbers, or if we multiply whole numbers, multiply is just making the numbers bigger faster, right? If we multiply or add numbers, we will always end up with another whole number. So that's really almost obvious, isn't it? So what we say in mathematics is we say that the set of whole numbers is closed under addition and multiplication. So what does that mean? It's same as if a whole number is added or multiplied with another whole number, it will always be a whole number. Do you think it's the same when it gets to subtraction and division? It's not closed. We say that subtraction and division operations are not closed. Why do we say that? Now, to understand this, please remember the definition of whole numbers in one of the previous lessons. And let's explain. If we subtract, look at the example. We can subtract 2 from 3, and that is 1. And 1 is a whole number, so yeah, it's fine. But if it's the other way around, and we subtract 3 from 2, we get -1, and -1 is not a whole number. So therefore we're saying that the whole number minus a whole number is not always equals to another whole number. So it is not applicable. And then with division, if we, for example, divide 4 by 2, we get 2. And 2 is a whole number. But if it's the other way around, and we divide 2 by 4, we get a half. And a half is not a whole number. So that's why we cannot say that, oops, that's a little bit down, we're going to do it there. A whole number divided by a whole number does not always equal to a whole number. And that's the closure property. The next property is associative property. So what this property is saying is, like you read there on the screen, the order in which you add or multiply more than 2 numbers does not matter. So this is saying that if you, for example, 5 plus 6 plus 2 is 13. So 5 plus 6 is 11 plus 2 is 13. But if you, for example, put the brackets around the 6 plus 2, you get 5 plus 8, and that's also equals to 13. And the same with multiplication. If you say 5 times 6 times 2, 5 times 6 is 30, times 2 gives us 60. But if you say 5 times 6 times 2 is 12, also gives us 60. So in order, associative property works on addition and multiplication. But the same question, do you think it holds true under subtraction and division? Let's see. If we subtract 12 minus 6 minus 2, so remember we do brackets first, so it's 12 minus 4, that equals 8. Can you see there? But, for example, if you change the brackets to 12 minus 6, so that will give us 6 minus 2 equals 4. Can you see it's not the same? So it's not, does not hold true for associative property, does not work under subtraction. And division, 12 divided by 6 divided by 2, so we do the bracket, so it's 12 divided by 3 equals 4. And if we change the bracket to 12 divided by 6, so that gives us 2 divided by 2, it gives us 2. Again, it does not work. So again, the associative property of whole numbers holds true for multiplication and addition. Commutative property. So what this is saying is that the sum and the product of two whole numbers remain the same even after interchanging the order of the numbers. Now I can see what you're thinking. What is the same as the associative property? Yes, the only difference is that we are only talking about two whole numbers here. Let me explain. If you say 4 plus 6 or 6 plus 4, it's the same. The answer is 10. Or 4 times 6 is 24, or 6 times 4 is 24. So this property holds true for addition and multiplication, but not, by now you have the answer, but not for subtraction and division. Let's explain. If you divide 12 minus 6, subtract 6 from 12, you get 6. But if you turn it round and you take 12 from 6, it's not the same answer. And the same with division. 12 divided by 6 gives us 2, but 6 divided by 12 gives us a half. So now this is easy to remember. Addition and multiplication have got a closure property, associative property, a commutative property, but not subtraction and division. Now the last one I want to discuss is the distributive property of multiplication. So when numbers in a bracket are multiplied by a number in front of the bracket, each number inside the bracket is affected. Let me explain. Say for example, 3 times 6 plus 4. So you multiply 3 times 6 and 3 times 4. So that gives us 18 plus 12 gives us 30. But if you subtract 3 times 6 minus 4, so you say 3 times 6 minus 3 times 4 gives us an answer of 6. So whatever is in the bracket, if there's something to multiply that with, you distribute it over both numbers. For example, 3 times 6 and 3 times 4. 3 times 6 and 3 times 4 does not matter if there is a plus or a minus. Okay. And now, I say, for example, they ask you to rewrite the expression using the distributive law of multiplication. So this is the type of question that people can ask you. So all you have to do is you say 5 times 9 minus 5 times 4, and that gives us 45 minus 20, and it gives us 25. And if we check, if we, for example, did it that other way, 5, 9 minus 4, we do the brackets first, is 5, and that equals 25. So the answer is the same. The same with, let me look at this example, 8, 3 plus 6. So we can do it this way. we can say 8 and 3 plus 6 is 9. So the answer is 72. But we can also do it this way. 8 times 3 and 8 times 6. We multiply that and we add them together and we get the same number. So that is what it means, the distributive property. And the only way they can ask it is in this format. They can say, rewrite the expression using the distributive law of multiplication. And I wonder if you remember this slide. We've done that when we did multiplication, correct? And I referred to this and I said we're going to see this again. Today is the day. Okay, so look at this. They ask us to multiply 3,210 times 46. Remember I said 46 can be broken up into a 40 plus a 6. So here we multiply 3,210 times 40 and times 6. This is our distributive property. And we can change it the other way around. We can say 3,210 times 6 plus 320 times 40. We can change it around. That is our commutative law. But the answer will then always be 147,660. Okay, so just to summarize, our closure property holds true for addition. If you add whole numbers, you will always have a whole number. If you multiply, you will always have a whole number. It does not hold true for subtraction and division. Commutative property, A plus B can also be B plus A. Your answer will be the same. That holds true for addition and multiplication. But it does not work for subtraction and division. Then associative property does not matter. A plus B and A plus C, you can combine it differently. You can say A plus B plus C, same answer. A, B, A, C, you can combine it differently. It's still the same answer. But remember, we had the example, if you associate these numbers differently, it does not always hold true. And the last one is the distributive property of multiplication. And that is where whatever is in the brackets, you don't have to do that first. You multiply the number in front with both numbers in the bracket and you just add it or subtract it. Now, the last thing I want to say today, and I've alluded to it previously when we did subtractions. I said, how do you check if your sum is correct? You just add your answer to one of the number that you subtracted, and then you should get your initial number. So this is what we called inverse operations. Addition and subtraction are called inverse operations. And it's so nice because you can always check your answer if you know this and you apply it. If you add and subtract the same amount from a number, you end up back where you started. So if you say 20 plus 10 is 210, and now you minus the 10 again, you're back where you started. Your multiplication and division, the same thing. If you say 200 times 10 is 2,000, now you divide it again, you're back to 200. This is what's called the inverse operations. Now, I just want to remind you of this slide. Remember this one, we've done that. And I said the way to check that your answer is correct, you subtracted 538 from 862. If you want to check your answer is correct, you're going to add this. And you will find that answer again. Then you know you are correct. Okay, remember this one, also a blast from the past. You had to do this long division. The answer was 150. Now, if you multiply 150 with 245, you're going to get the same answer as the dividend. Okay, so you multiply your quotient with your divisor, and then you find out that you're back at the dividend. That is just what we call the inverse operations, and the best use for this is to check whether your answer is correct. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.